And we're recording. Yay!
Hello.
Well, hello. Welcome to Here Be Dragons, where creativity meets courage and dragons live in the art we create and the lives we lead. I'm Carla Morrow of Dragon Lady Art, and with me is my co-pilot and dragon rider extraordinaire.
Alan Childers of Alan Childers Art and Illustration. We're here to talk about the dragons we face, the treasure or the booty we're after, and the wondrously weird journey of life. Every episode will explore what it takes to face your dragons, or maybe even ride one.
So grab your shields, sharpen your claws, and let's dive in today, because today we're asking the question that matters most. What dragons are you facing? Hi, Alan.
Hey, Carla. Sorry, my dog's barking in the background.
That's all right. That's all right. Dogs are barking, huh?
So this episode is going to be a little different than our previous episodes because we just actually got back from well, you're not back yet. I'm back home from Norman, Oklahoma, where we spent 3 days doing the medieval fair of Norman, which you have more experience with. So I'm going to let you give a little bit of insight of what the medieval fair of Norman is.
Yeah, so the Medieval Fair of Norman is a single weekend fair, kind of a pop-up tent style. It's the largest single weekend pop-up tent fair in the country, averaging anywhere from 100 to 300,000 people in the weekend. I personally have been doing it off and on for 15 years, but solidly for the last, I don't know, 10 maybe. It's my favorite show of the year. You had left, you missed it, Alan. I had a young man come into my booth who was very excited to purchase from me, and he informed me that he had been purchasing from me since he was 13 and is now in his early 20s and is excited
Wow, that's
to
great.
be purchasing something for like his first house with his fiance, and I felt touched and old at the same time.
Doesn't
Um,
that just doesn't that just make you feel amazing?
it
Like
does. It
it
really,
makes you
really
feel
does.
so good.
Yeah, he
I
was
just
so
have to say,
excited.
take this moment to thank you for the experience because, for one, that was my first Ren Fest, working a Ren Fest. I've been to Ren Fest before. I've been to Kansas City, the Kansas City Ren Fest, several times. And this was by far, I mean, just the amount, like, I had just recently been to Planet Comic Con too. And I thought that was as many people as I've ever seen in my life. This was on par with that, but outdoors with
Right.
lots of people and way more
It's
food
insane.
options because the Planet Comic Con did not have that many food options.
Yeah, it's
So that,
insane.
that that
It's
was
crazy.
incredible seeing like all the food truck vendors, all the people just walking around in character. It was just magical and it was fun and everybody was into it.
Yeah, I love. So I've been doing Ren fairs now for 20 years. My very first show was a Ren fair back in 2004, and it's it's interesting to see the shift happening now from conventions to Ren fairs. So when I started doing Ren fairs, and I had several vendor friends that were like, "You have to get into conventions. You have to get into conventions." And at the time, okay. I did Gen Con in 2008, and I emailed them and said, "Have art, will travel. If you have extra spaces, I would like one," and I got in.
Wow, you hot dropped Gen
I
Con?
hot dropped Gen Con in '08, and that does not happen anymore. So, yeah, and
Damn.
now, so I was there for the rise of conventions and saw it expand and explode and saw it go from a couple of small literary cons or sci-fi cons in a state to I saw the birth of Denver Comic Con, the birth of Phoenix Comic Con, the birth of, I was there the first year for Salt Lake City Comic Con, which are now hold the, what, three, four, and five spots for Comic Cons. Like San Diego Comic Con is still the biggest one, which I haven't done. New York City Comic Con is the second. And then for a while there, Denver, Phoenix, and Salt Lake City were vying for the third, fourth, and fifth places. And I saw the birth of all those, and to have let go of conventions and be back on the Renaissance Fair circuit and seeing the same thing happen to Ren fairs It's really fascinating. So I'm seeing a rise in Ren fairs, and I'm seeing a rise in people creating characters for their Ren fair, right?
Mhm.
They're working on their outfits, they're buying pieces, and they're creating characters to wear at Renaissance fairs. And I'm seeing, and you saw a lot of it too. There's trolls. People sometimes wear their D&D characters, or they
Oh
do
yeah.
general fantasy characters, or they're buying like legit armor pieces that are metal and full chainmail and stuff, and or fairy and fantasy characters, or they're, I've seen people dressed as like mice in armor with, the button shield and the, things
Yes,
like that,
that's
or
great.
plague rats, or, stuff like that. So it's cool
Full
to see
armor
it
too,
happening
walking around in
again.
full armor
Yeah.
in the heat. That
And
was
the heat and the humidity. Oh my God, the humidity. The desert rat. You were like, it's
but
not that humid. And I'm like, I'm gonna die.
so some of the people that dress up as their characters, I know some people are doing it for free because they love it, but some of the characters are actually getting paid to do that, right? They apply as
Yeah.
performers and get paid to be there and interact with the
Correct.
crowds and do such a, like the guy on the ball, like that guy was cool.
Yeah. He was so nice. It was really good to like talk to him and talk. Like I think I've talked about this before on the podcast where like professionals have a different language that they use with each other. And it's the same thing with like with performers and rennies and things like that. Like there's this whole other language that you can talk to people and know that they're professional. And the guy has been doing it for like 20 something years, and he used to work in a troupe, and now he's broken off on his own. And just talking to him about the circuit and the background of it and the people and everything is just so much fun. I love
Mhm.
being part of that whole like circuit. And there's he met several of my vendor friends. A lot of those vendor friends I only see one or two times a year, but we're like super close. And
Yeah,
we visit each other's booths, and we go to dinners, and we hang out, and it's like the year just flew by, and now we're just super close again. And
yeah.
yeah, the one girl, that the the jewelry maker, the silversmith, I see her at 3 or 4 shows a year, and we're super close. And yeah,
So
it's cool.
one of the things that I noticed, and I noticed this at Kansas City Renfest too, there aren't a lot of many just um, regular artists out there. It's more of an artisan craft kind of
Hmm.
thing. Like I think we were maybe like one of three, maybe that
Something
I
like that.
saw, and we were like super curious whenever somebody brought in other people's art when we came in because we were like, oh, we thought we were like, yeah, I think there was, maybe saw like three different people's artwork, like yours and two other people's,
Hmm. Yeah,
out of like
yeah,
as many booths as you would find at a convention,
yeah.
um, but only three artists probably
Hmm.
servicing that many people. Is that common in the in a Ren Fair scene, or do not very many
Yeah.
artists like gravitate towards like the? Because I've seen a lot of crafters and I've seen a lot of artisans, and leather workers, and I would call those trade skills and stuff like that, and I would call that
You're
artisanal.
right. Artisanal. Artisanal.
Isn't it? Yeah. But it's a different vibe than what
Good
a
word right
like
there.
traditional fantasy artist, um,
Yeah.
a fantasy artist, or just a regular regular
Mhm.
fine artist would be probably not there. Is that common or?
Yeah, it's kind of a sliding scale. So I've done shows. So my first show was a Ren Fair. That Ren Fair was the Las Cruces Renaissance Festival, and that was a fine art show with a Ren Fair theme back in the day. So it was all fine artists, but you put forward a Ren Fair theme. So you put your booth up like a Ren Fair, and you kind of dress like a Ren Fair and that kind of thing. They had like SCA there, and they had some other entertainment that was more Ren Fair skewed, but it was all fine artists, right? It all had to be handmade. You had to pass jury, stuff like that, all the way down to this show, which is, as you said, more crafters, more artisanal stuff, more, and really like a really amazing artistic stuff, like artistic leather, artistic clothing, artistic metal, but definitely more on the usable, tangible, crafty side of things than wall art. It's I think because it's such a big investment, and because it's such a big, it's a lot of work. I mean, it took us what 6, 7 hours to set up the booth over 2 days,
Yeah,
and that's
that
common.
was
That's common for my double booth. So to go and get a booth and then to set it up and to have the 10 by 10 tent, which is going to start at $400 or $500 for a decent tent and go all the way up to 2,000 for like a trim line, stuff like that. And the walls to go with it, and then all the stock, and then all the and then on top of that to be there all day in the dirt and the sun and the rain and a lot of these shows are all weather, so it doesn't matter what the weather is, they're going to be open.
Yeah.
So it's not like a convention where if the weather's crappy outside, you're still going to get people. It's a bigger risk because it's outdoor and because the weather's been so crazy lately. Um, and it's just a lot of stuff to move. I mean, I had to cut down to the Kia Soul this year because the truck, needs like $2,400 worth of work. So
And let
uh,
me tell you what came out of that Kia Soul. The Kia Soul was a TARDIS. She turned it into a TARDIS. Like it was like clown carring it. I was like, holy shit.
it's definitely bigger on the inside. I drove a Chevy Cavalier for the first 20 years, and then we just got the Kia Soul about 10 years ago. And the first time I got gas for the Kia Soul, I drove past the gas pump because it was about 2 feet shorter on each side from the Cavalier, and I had to get back in the car and back it up to the pump because I had gone too far forward. It's a very small car, but it packs a lot of space. So I drive a toaster, but I got the tents on top. So we bought a roof rack, and the two tents are on top. My tents were $850 each. I have high-end Yearmax tents. They should really
Yeah.
start paying me because I think a ton of vendors have Yearmax because of me. Because I'm like, come look at my tent. You have to get a tent like
This
this.
is
This
not
tent is
sponsored
amazing.
by Euromax, by the way.
No,
If you're,
it's not, but
listen,
I should be.
if you're listening, Carla
Yeah,
Morrow, I
Yearmax.
sent a lot of
Yearmax.
business your
Yes,
way.
if you wanna kick us a discount code and have us
Yeah,
sponsored
we'll
on the
totally.
podcast, we can do that.
Derby Dragons will totally do that for you as well as. But no, I was super impressed with the setup. I come from I'm a veteran and a military background, and I just went right back into like military mode with like the setup and trying to think. And even then, I was just like, where does this go? Where does this go? Where does this go? How do you want this? Because you have a specific way that you set up that maximizes, your the to make sure that the tent is going to survive wind, rain,
Yeah.
and
And that's it. I can my convention setup fits in 6 totes and and a bag, the sling bag with for my backdrop. And the tent requires 40 pounds on each corner and two stakes in each side, and I have two tents, so that's 6 weights and you know 16 stakes. And I also use the big screw out, the big corkscrew ones that go, so that's four of those, one for each corner and one in the back, and everything else. And because of that setup, I have withstood 65-mile-an-hour gusts
I mean, it was pretty gusty
without a
while we
problem.
were there, and it barely budged. Like
Mhm.
we like the only thing that really blew over were some of my loose stickers and a couple of prints, but
Yeah, my
and the
truck
things
marks
that
have
were
gone through
close to
the
the.
dirt.
I mean, we had a one full side open and one side open, and so the things that were just really getting gusted on were like a couple of things blew off the table every now and then, but most of it just took it. It just took it. I know that's what she said.
we
uh,
had we had a fun weekend. It was good.
yeah, it was great. No, we got to. I was cursing Oklahoma driving down there because Oklahoma has not been kind to me in the past with driving down. I've been pulled over in a couple of times, and and even down there, like traffic was being rerouted. Like a state trooper was sitting side straddle in the middle of the turnpike and just directing traffic off the road, and I was just like, oh my god, what have I gotten into? But we set up, we got halfway set up, we got all the tents up, and then we went and hung out in downtown
Yeah,
Oklahoma
KC,
City.
baby.
Yeah, we played some retro arcade games, and we had a really good time. And it was and ate some Japanese and the Chinese buffet in a that was could have been
That was an adventure.
slightly sketch, but it was good because all the locals were there,
Yeah,
and so
some
it
amazing
was
bathroom
good. It was
graffiti.
really good. Got some bathroom graffiti to photos as a reminder. Uh, Not calling you out, folks, but yeah, Oklahoma City's wild in some
I
places.
meant to I meant to tell you, and I forgot. There was a in one of the porta johns I used. Somebody had written send shit pics to, and then wrote somebody's phone number. I was like, oh my God, that is
Oh, that's
that is
horrible. It's
somebody
probably one of their friends. Oh
that
my,
is somebody that's gonna need to change their number
oh my
in the
gosh.
porta john. And let me tell you, porta johns for 200,000 people get bad real quick.
Oh
Like
yeah.
they clean them out once during the middle of the day, but yeah,
I
it's
had a specific one that I went to that was a little further down the line, and it was like, so I had like a specific one that I would gravitate toward. So, yeah, it was usually pretty good, but also like the time of
sure.
day that I went, I tried to go earlier because we weren't as busy earlier in the day, and then when it hit, like, man, I don't know what it was, but like when it hit with the amount of people coming through, I was just like, oh my gosh. And I remember you being like a little bit overwhelmed too with the amount of
I
people.
did. I did. I had a little bit of a minor anxiety attack coming back on the porta john to come back to the booth because I got hit with a sea of just bodies and yeah, it kind of overwhelmed me a little bit. I love doing these shows when I'm behind my table, but like walking around them is can be too much. But
Yeah, I fully intended to walking around, and I probably could have that last day, but we were so busy like the entire time. Like there was people in the booth purchasing and buying. And one of the things, and it's really great as almost as like a barometer of our economy to see what's selling, what's not selling. And I know we were paying attention to that quite a bit, seeing like what was being purchased and stuff like that. And those pens were amazing. They were flying off.
yeah, I sold out of one design for sure, and I'm really close to selling out of another.
Yeah, the pens were doing really well. Your Oracle decks did really well. I think it helped that you sign the Oracle decks right then and there for them.
Yeah.
Um, but
I had, when I checked the numbers, I had the same amount of sales that I had previous years, but they were smaller dollar amounts. So I was down about $10 per sale, but I had the same number of sales. Now
and I know.
I
Oh,
did
go
talk
ahead.
to a couple of other vendors. A friend of mine who does leather goods, she came by today and we talked numbers for a little bit, and she did almost 2 grand less than I did, and the silver jeweler friend of mine did almost 2,500 less than I did. Now,
Oh,
the silver, yeah, and her work is amazing. And you know what? If the jewelry vendors are not doing well, that's a huge barometer of the economy. I luck out
mhm.
because I've been doing the show for so long, and that like that's a good sign for longevity, right? Like I've been doing the show for 10 years. And I mean, you saw how many locals and how many like regulars came in and
Oh
we've
yeah.
been buying from years, we bought from you last year, we bought from you 3 years ago, whatever, and they're still buying. Now my print sales were down, but my stuff sales. So I sold I sold almost 20 mugs. I think I had 6 or 8 of each deck, so I sold 16, 17 decks.
Hmm.
Um, I sold all but one blanket that I had left. I did
Yeah.
sell prints. I was able to collapse it down. I sold about half a bin worth of prints. Um,
Awesome.
but a lot of it was, and a lot of it, again, they've been buying from me for years, so they have those prints or they don't have the space on their walls and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I think, I think that's a conversation artists need to have overall is what happens when people stop buying prints?
Right.
Because it seems like we're getting to that point where the print sales are getting hard because it's been 15 years of cheap prints. Right. I know I talked to you about when I got into this. We were just at the very early stages of digital printing. And in fact, when I was trained, and I was trained by a fine artist, it was lithograph printing. It was four color CMYK printing. You actually got your artwork photographed by a professional photographer. You had it broken up into the four different colored plates, and you ordered 150 to 200 prints at a time, and that alone was like a $5,000 drop. So you didn't make prints out of every original. You picked and chose, and if you like chose wrong and got a print that wouldn't move, that was an investment that you lost out of. But now, with digital printing and with how inexpensive it is, I mean, my prints were $20. You had prints starting at 15 to 20. Um, and every convention artist out there has prints going from 10 all the way up to 30, 40, $50. Um, People really just don't have room for prints anymore.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
you know,
I heard
so
that a lot. One tattooist asked if I had some, uh, you know, a piece that he really liked if I had it in a smaller size, because
yeah.
he just has his tattoo shop filled with other artists' work for inspiration, and
Hmm.
he's running out of wall space
Yeah.
to put anything up. So, it really, you're right. We have to think about, you know, because I mean, not everybody is a collector. Some people buy prints to support the artist and because they think it's
Hmm.
pretty in the moment, and they really don't have the wall space or even to put these things up. And while the support is great, some of those prints probably end up going to like a gift to a friend, or they end up getting put into a resale shop somewhere.
I
Um,
had a friend 2 months ago that just found a set of four of my prints in the resale shop, and she was so excited because she hadn't been able to buy prints from me, and she got the stack of them for $5. And I don't mind the resale, and I don't feel like I'm losing a sale or whatever, but it still is just like, oh man, dang it,
yeah, yeah, you
you
feel like,
know.
oh my. I mean, I think I've done that to an artist too, where I thought the resale shop was like, I contacted an artist one time. I knew that it was their specific work, and I let them know that their art was in a resale shop and they're selling it. And I was, and they were like, "Well, I got the money for it," and I was just like, "Oh,
Right?
you
Yeah.
do."
Once it walks out of my booth, y'all can do whatever, well, except for try to make,
Well,
money
and
off it on
here's the
commission. But
thing with social media and the advent of AI and everything like that. If you have a laser printer, you really don't need to pay an artist. It's about the experience. When you purchase from an artist, you are really helping them fulfill their dreams. You're helping them support themselves. You are, it's really not about it is about the artwork. It's about connecting to it in the moment, but it's also about
Mhm.
supporting the artist and making sure that they're supported so that they can keep making the things that you love. So, um,
Definitely.
as long as I think we keep doing that, and we even had some people bring up, I know you puffer fished at a couple of people at the booth that brought up AI.
No,
And
it was
some
that
guy,
one kid who walked in and was like, "Is this AI?" And I was like,
yeah,
"No!" Yeah, he
I
got
heard
a
some.
got a.
I heard some. You were busy with a customer, but I heard some girls talk about
Oh, okay.
the digital banners too,
Oh,
and
okay. No.
they so AI is getting to the point where like people can't really tell anymore. At
Yeah.
least the average person can't tell. I can still tell a little bit
Right. 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 Right.
with certain things, but
Well, and
yeah,
we did. I'm pretty sure we did have one guy come in who was an AI prompter because he was asking, the questions he was asking were very weird. Was very like, how do you feel about AI? And I think I had educated answers. He seemed to be satisfied with my argument of I'm I'm happy to see a lot of artists, and this is not a knock at digital whatsoever. Digital art is real art. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm seeing a lot of artists go back more towards traditional because of the influence of AI. And it's sad because like digital or traditional digital work is still really good if you're an illustrator or if you're creating artwork for licensing or you're creating artwork for a company or something like that, because it is easy to make changes. You can go in and adjust colors or adjust layers or whatever it is you need to do. Um, but it's been really fun watching a lot of artists rediscover traditional work and what they loved about traditional work, and seeing that, like, I know for me personally, like, I missed, and I didn't realize I missed it. Again, if you had asked me a year ago, I would have said, you're going to pull my iPad from my cold dead hands. But I didn't realize how much I missed the tangible feel of brush on paper. And my originals, I'm now pushing myself in ways that I wouldn't have pushed myself with digital. It's not just making the pretty picture, it's now I'm adding a lapidary, and now I'm painting it on gold and metal and silver leaf, and now I'm adding, interference colors and mica colors and everything. So the user has an experience when they look at the art. And it seemed like that was coming across because this was the
Oh
first show
yeah,
that I had a lot about wildlife. And I don't think you were in the booth, but a girl came
yeah.
in and
Some
she asked about the leopard piece. And she was like, I look at that piece and it makes me want to cry in a good way.
people,
And I was like,
yeah, some people.
like,
I swear, some people were getting pulled away as far as 30 feet, 30 feet from your lion and your jaguar and your gold leaf and your copper leaf and your silver piece. They were like, there was a lot of interest for a lot of your originals that you brought, um,
yeah,
and stuff. So I think definitely, um, they were feeling the vibe for it. And there's just a lot of people who just love dragons, who just still
yeah,
love like the colors, they just, there were kids who were just like instantly drawn to your work. Use a lot of vibrant colors that are reminiscent from like, you showed me a little bit of like the unicorns that you grew up with collecting and stuff like that. So a lot of those colors that you were showing me in that work really come across in your work now, like the vibrant, that 80s vibrancy of like
all the colors, all the saturation.
yeah, all the color, all the saturation and stuff, and it just like comes out in your work, but in a really well done, put together way. Like we were talking to
Thank you.
how as an artist I tend to do a lot of character work with a lot of expression and stuff, but a lot of my work like I tend to stop after that. I don't think about the whole picture as a piece of art. Like that figure was what I was trying to represent at the time, but you incorporate like a full cohesive background, a dragon, and a story that goes along with it that fits the narrative, like your koi dragons and all that. Really just like, you can tell like it simmered in the creative juices for the while. It's like I'm like microwaving a burrito with my creativity, and you're like
I'm not.
cooking a full meal with sides.
No, but when you do a painting, like when you do plan it out, you're it comes across really, really well. Your composition and color theory and whatnot do show through when you manage to sit down and do
Yeah,
a full piece. I mean, that you sold that dragon and woman piece, what, within 48 hours of finishing it?
yeah, yeah,
Like,
he's coming down to purchase that from Iowa, so
hey, you know what?
pretty excited.
Friends,
I'm pretty excited
friends,
that
money
it's.
spends.
Whoa, Carla jumped out. It's just me for a
Oh,
little bit. There she
oh,
is.
what the hell?
That's all
That's
right. She's
weird.
back.
Okay, sorry. Um, yeah, so when you can sit down, and I know like with that particular piece, you really worked hard you played with thumbnails and you played with color and you played with, you really seem to get into the process more than you do with just your quick sketches, which is cool.
Yeah, and I
But
think that's where
your work got a lot of
that's
attention
where the
too,
love
so.
is, right? We have to fall in love with the process again,
Mhm.
and the creativity of it. The process, the creativity, the learning, the pushing yourself to go beyond your comfort level with something that you
Mhm.
may not know about. Those are things that challenges our brain and challenges us to go further with our artwork. And you know, it pushes us. And I think AI is pushing us. Like
Yeah,
whether we know it or not, AI is pushing us to be better artists because
I agree.
the you know it's like the wolf nipping at our heels, you know, and we have to find better tools to overcome it. You know, we have to, or we have to turn and face our dragon, and we have to. And I know a lot of artists have chosen to ride that dragon, but that is always one dragon that I will face. That is my Tiamat. Something that is not a like I can admit to myself and see the uses for it, but just what it does to our labor market, what it does to manipulate and steal from artists, it's not something that is usable. It's not. It tries to replace a human being and human creativity and human art, and that's just not
Right.
something that I think is good for our
Yeah,
species
for
overall.
for sure. So, Ellen, what did you think? What is your future plans? Are you ready to jump into Renaissance fairs?
So I'm doing one, Silver Sage Renaissance Festival in Joplin. It's a small one. It's no Norman, and I think I would,
How many of them are not?
you know, and I don't, I honestly don't know if I would have the balls to do Norman, to jump in whole hog on Norman. I enjoyed helping you. If you ever need help with that, I am looking at a couple of them near me. Um, Maybe not Kansas City. Like the multi weekend one, just things seems like a lot
Fun.
of commitment. Unless
Yeah.
they have like guest spots or guest artists where
Mhm.
you can come in for a weekend, uh, a spot that you can come in for a weekend. It just seems like such a huge commitment to be there for a multi weekend. You know,
Yeah.
which isn't bad for the people who like the Rennies who have developed this as their lifestyle. This is like their trade. This is what this is how they work. They're kind of like nomadic though. They have a circuit, right? And they follow
Hmm.
that circuit and work the multi weekends and stuff like that. And that works really well for a specific kind of person. For me, who has a day job and stuff like that. So it has to be the right kind of convention. Even doing a multi-day regular convention for me is kind of like an obstacle.
Right.
So, like, if it's like a 4 day convention, I'm probably not going to do it. Like, I'll probably do the smaller 2 day conventions and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And that's okay. It's the tier of art that I'm at that I'm invested in because I also like you know, as an artist, I enjoy having a day job that provides me security.
Yeah.
Because that security allows my creativity. Because if I had to worry about putting food on the table through my art,
Yeah.
I don't think I would feel as creative as I would need to. Like it would be making art under duress for myself, and
Right.
my brain just doesn't flourish creatively under that kind of constraint. So,
Hmm.
but I mean, there are people who do it, and you know, you are a working artist, and you know, you do what you have to when you need to. uh, so. But so I am looking for opportunities in smaller fairs and things of that nature um, around my area. So I think that would be unique, and it would be really cool to do Kansas City Ren Fest um,
Yeah.
at some point. Just have to sleep on somebody's couch.
Right. I think you would do well at them. I think once it's a process of working up, right? Like I didn't jump right into Norman. It was a couple of years before I went. And I think I don't know if it was the largest weekend renter at the time when I started there, 15 years ago. But I did my, small local Ren fair and bought a Easy Up that was on sale at Walmart for 120 bucks. And then, I bought two folding tables from Walmart that were 30 bucks a piece and, a couple of black sheets from the local thrift store. And
Hmm.
then slowly, as I had good shows, I was able to invest. I did Norman in a single 10 by 10 for years and had a really good show and was able to go home and invest, $1,000 in a tent setup. Only one, and then went a few more years with that and then was able to widen that to a 10 by 20. And when my 10 by 20 started bringing in almost double than what my 10 by 10 did, I was able to invest in another tent and then more fabric and changing walls and stuff like that. So it's hard to just jump.
I probably would try to do Norman because it's a single weekend, a
Hmm.
pop up. I mean, I could probably swing that and do it like that. However, you really need somebody else in your booth with how busy it gets. It is
Yeah,
like even to just go pee. I mean, you can't really like press pause and then walk away.
yeah.
All your
I had to go
stock is
steal
right
Lisa's helper after you left.
there.
I had to go steal Lisa's helper after you left.
Oh goodness.
It's all good. That's why we're right next to each other. We do that all the time. And that's the other option too, is if you're going to try one of these shows, try to find an artist that you know that's doing it or a buddy. And a lot of shows are really good about accommodating, hey, I'd like to be next to so and so because I'm doing this by
Right
myself and I
next
need
to
to help each
Carla.
other out.
Right next to Carla.
You're gonna, there's gonna start being fist fights. So the owner, the woman that runs the show came by while I was tearing down to say hello, and I love this woman. She's amazing. But I said, you guys put on a good show. It's great. And then I said, I need to quit telling vendors about it because I don't want to like be over and inundated with vendors. And she laughed and she's like, yeah, all these vendors keep applying and they keep saying, Carla told me about the show. And I went, oh crap. And she's like, that's okay. At least they're good quality ones. And I was like, well, some of them. There's a few that I wish they wouldn't name drop me. And she she laughed as she sped away on her little cart. But yeah, but I've noticed it a lot, especially the outdoor shows that are more relaxed than the conventions. You can always say, "Hey, I need to be next to so and so because we share a helper, we help each other out, or whatever." And I mean, I did this by myself for the first, several years, and Lisa, my corset friend, and I would ask to be next to each other. And so when I had to leave, she would keep an eye on my booth and vice versa. And I've done that with a few people over the years, so that's definitely an option, and never feel bad about asking about being next to somebody for specific reasons. So.
Well, I definitely appreciate like the opportunity to meet you for one. We got to meet in person. We got to hang out together and have a good time
Yeah,
and just vent
it was
and
awesome.
stitch and bitch about everything. And and then we also got to work together. I learned so
Hope I
much.
wasn't too much of a bitch.
No, you're not. You
Yeah,
only to people who deserve it.
I'm working on it.
But yeah, I learned so much from you, and I continue to learn so much from you about the professional art field, about these various different art markets and spaces. And you have contacts in other art markets that you're not even in yet that you're gravitating towards. So you are exploring new art markets outside of like Renfest and conventions. And that's the thing. Like these art markets that you go into, like they are almost like little solar systems unto themselves.
Oh yeah,
They
yeah.
have their own.
Ecosystem.
They have their own ecosystems, and a lot of them are closed loop systems.
Yeah.
You have to have somebody who's in the know to like give you a little insight into how to get into them or what the criteria is. And
Mhm.
the Renfest thing is definitely one of those things where on the outside it does appear to be quite intimidating, and it is an investment to put together not only your stock of art, invest in your setup to make sure that you're not going to blow away in inclement weather. But also your look and your vibe. People are going there to be transported to fantasy, to another time and place.
It's
That
escapism,
that
right?
it is
Like
a
in a good way, in a good way.
yeah, it is mercantile. Definitely it's a marketplace, but it is also an experience. And we were talking about that, how people are investing in their experience quite a bit. The wearable merch that people wear, just how people interact with them, the way that kids look at some of these things. Like there was a 8 foot tall troll walking around, and kids were just fascinated with it. They were fascinated with the performer on the ball juggling. They were fascinated by there's a
Good for you.
hobgoblin walking
Yeah, he's
around,
cool.
and so you are
Part of the
there for
experience.
an experience, and it does transport you. And I just have to say, like, the Rennies are my people. Like, I found my people. I was sitting there singing and yelling out to people, and just calling to people, and like, I don't know, like the inner performer came out in me, and I was just like, it was like Christmas. It was like Christmas to me. Like, I was just like, oh, I gotta go get a picture, Carla.
Right. That's why I had you in my booth. Your market variation open, and I figured you would flourish there, and you did awesome, like pushing my work, and your work got a lot of attention too. It really did.
Yeah,
You did some sales, and a lot of people seem to like your work, and
yeah, we
and
got
always
quite a bit in
always had a
bundles.
D&D story in their back pocket ready to tell you. So
Yeah. Yeah, it was so cool. It was great. And it was good
nerd
to see.
mecca.
It was so great to see people who have been buying for you from years. Like, there's people coming in going, yeah, I have this one, I have this one, I have this one, I have this. And I was just like, well, they're like Pokemon. You got to catch them all.
Yes.
It's like, you got to have all of them. I mean, it's just, they're your children. You got to check. You got to have all of
Yeah.
them.
Well, you met the woman that bought the original for the koi dragon, and she like that was featured prominently in her wedding. So that kind
Hmm.
of stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, I
it's pretty
almost
awesome.
think like you need like a coffee art book of your dragon work, like
Yeah, I need to
really
put one
fine
together.
illustrations and breakdowns,
Hmm.
so like people can have like people can like peruse your work and things, because like we were talking about wall space and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, there we are. Oh, there
Oh
I
my
am.
gosh.
People still need libraries, so still
Yeah.
people still read. I mean, the bookmarks flew off. Yeah,
Yeah.
bookmarks
Those
going.
are
I
so
sold
cool.
most of my bookmarks,
Hey.
that I brought out. So I got to print some more bookmarks too, and get those
Hmm.
going. So I had such a great time. It was so fun. And I just love Renfest. Like, I love fantasy, and I love magic, and I love, like, in the creative anarchism society.
Oh, Society for Creative Anachronism. Yeah.
Yeah, creative. Yes, yeah, that. Yeah, they stay in character the whole time, even when they're browsing
Oh,
and
yeah.
looking at booths. They're like, we don't have the Merlin box and things, and I was just like, I love that commitment to the bit. It's like,
Well, and it was awesome because at one point one of the hats walked. I played SE for years, and one of the barons, probably a previous baron, walked by wearing a crown, and we made eye contact, and I did a little curtsy, and he was like, "How are you today?" And I was like, "I'm fine, thank you, Excellency." As he was walking by, and he did a double take because I knew the term Your Excellency, and I knew that was the proper thing to call him. And yeah, to see the moment of shock on his face of like, "Oh my God, she knows!" Like she's one of our people. It was a lot of fun. I
Oh,
haven't played
is
SEA
there
in
like
10 years.
is there even like further down the rabbit hole you can go?
Oh, honey, we could talk. There's a whole other, yeah.
Is
That has its own language and its own
is
system,
there
and
a
there's
whole secret society
tiers of
that we don't know
royalty.
about?
Well, I have an official title in the SCA. My name and device is passed. I am Lady Kiraking and Miguel Fetvik. I have been honored with the honorific of lady. I have a that's moving up. That's the bottom layer. It's the bottom tier of
No, I
honorifics, but
didn't know I
it
was.
goes up from there. Yes,
No,
you're
I
in the
was
presence of
swimming
a
it with
new
you.
lady.
Or you were swimming with
No,
me.
just a mild landowner, whatever. But yeah, there's whole tiers of and terminologies and everything about it, and yeah. Yes. I once
Uh,
upon a time I was somebody.
well, you know. It was so
Yeah,
fun. Oh, it was so
but
fun, and
I'm doing it
it
again in
really makes
5 days.
me hungry to make work. Doing something like that makes me hungry to get back, get my pencil sharpened, get my paints out, start making some work. Because I'm like, all the vibes are there. People are just, and when they start vibing with your work too,
Oh
um,
yeah, feed your
it just
soul.
makes
I
you
mean
want to
that's
get back into the studio and lock in and just be like, "Whoa,"
yeah. I mean the first person we do this for is ourselves, but then to get that feedback from people who really get the work um, makes a big deal. I mean, I tend to be quieter in my booth. I tend to let people look, but I love watching people's face when they look through the prints and when they find that piece that they connect with and their whole face changes. Like
Yeah, to
that's
get that glazed
I
over look.
live for that moment of, that lock in of this is it. This is my piece. This is speaking to me. Like that's I watch for that constantly. So people come in and I'm like, hey, I'm Carla Morrow. I'm the artist. If you have any questions, let me know. And they'll usually ask, what do you work in or what media, so on. It's just basic, what's your inspiration, the basic artist questions. But when you get somebody that really gets the work and really, really understands your voice, there's nothing better. It's the
Yeah,
high we're all chasing for sure.
totally, totally. That's yeah, definitely. I have people that have done that with my work too, and come back and
Yeah, absolutely.
like
I see it.
and come
I
back to
saw it.
like the shows that I come back to regularly. They look through my stuff and they're like, "Oh, what new stuff do you have?" and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
there was people like that for you. Like they were like, what new things do you have out and stuff like that. Um, and I'm happy that there was a lot of general interest for the cosmic mystical wildlife
Me too.
that that you're going into because people really like they walked across the like 30 feet to come. It drew them in immediately. So
Well,
um,
even the vendor next to us pulled you aside to tell you how striking the booth was.
yeah, yeah,
Right.
he
Yeah.
was a guy that was selling plague rats, which is brilliant.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, so many
I could have
people
got one
love
of his
those
scrolls.
plague rats. They were walking
Oh
around with
my.
their little plague rats
Well,
hanging
there's
off
several times they'd come into the booth and they'd be like, "Do you know who has the plague rats?" And I'd be like, right next door, and they'd be like, "Ee!" And then they'd, run next door.
them.
They're so excited.
With that or frozen wine, it's like, oh, and I love
Oh
that
yeah,
like
the frozen
everybody
wine.
thinks that you're the information booth.
I have that open vibe, and that carries with me no matter where I'm at.
Yeah,
Everybody asks me if I know where the bathrooms are or the ATMs are. I tend to have that open vibe that people feel comfortable talking to me. So um, that's what
I
I
was just
know.
like,
Yeah, I become the
I
information
was just
booth
like, the
because I had
information
to.
booth is a wooden structure. It's right around the corner.
Right. I noticed by the third day you had that down pat. You had said it a few times.
Is
But
there
yeah, it's
anything that
fun.
you think that I could do better? I think I messed up one sale out of the whole thing.
Yeah, no, you were great. I never, yeah, and I wasn't even that, like, I wasn't mad at you. I was just pointing it out to just, pay attention to. But yeah, no, you were awesome. That was like the whole reason I invited you in was because I thought you
Yeah.
would talk to people and you would enjoy it and you would get excited about it and you seem to know my work fairly well and
I
I
think it's.
never felt like
Oh, go
Hmm?
ahead.
I never felt like you were upselling your work over mine. Um, which was awesome. So, and not that I expected you to or anything like that, because you were. I was laughing hysterically when that guy was wax lamenting about how kind I was to bring in an amateur artist and give him a spot in my like, I'm gonna strangle me when this guy leaves the booth. Like,
Yes, poor me. Poor me. I
oh
need
my
all
God.
the help I can
It's,
get.
it's like, wow, that's so kind of you as a professional artist to take other artists under your wing. And
Isn't it though?
oh, I played along. I'm like, I love doing that for people. And I thought you were gonna smack me.
I was, yeah, I thought you were going to get the sympathy sale for that one, like that. uh, no, but
But
I was
no,
like,
I got.
people would be like, come in and see your work, and then I had this like little section of my work, and I was like, oh, and Carla let me have a little section over here.
He begged real birdie like.
Yeah, big, real pretty, like, got my chapstick out.
That explains. Never mind. No, no, I thought you were. Yeah, I thought you were great. I think you could do this on your own easily enough. For sure. I think that with a little take the time to get your setup and start go to thrift stores, get sheets and curtains from thrift stores.
Rabbi,
There's no reason to invest in lots the tablecloths that you saw. I mean the 6 foot fitted tablecloths, I've had those for 15 years and they look like it, they're ratty, but that's why I put another piece of cloth over the top, right? Like it's
right, right. I
you
mean,
just when in doubt just break more
I've
fabric.
got the black tablecloths too. So yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah. So you're
I
good.
think it's the booth, like getting the outside of the booth looking Rennie as like even a pop up. I think you would want to at least have it looking a little.
Right. And if you look around online, there's all kinds of tutorials on how to make your pop-up look like a more Renaissance fair booth.
Yeah,
And keep in mind the smaller fairs are going to care less.
you're right.
Um, this show really wants you to make an effort, and there's some other Ren fairs that really want to see, as long as it looks like you're trying. I
Hmm.
mean, for the first several years, I had a loop that had 4 pieces like stripes of super long fabric that the loop just went over the peak of the tent and then the fabric came down the edges and it got tied off. I mean, that was all it was.
Yeah, because I think I
It was
saw
really
one
good.
person have like a garden pop up, like it was like the domed pop up.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, exactly.
that's for like gardening and stuff like that. But
Hmm.
or like a gardening booth. But they
Right.
had it out there. Yeah, saw several smaller kind of things, stuff with bug nets, different things out there.
Hmm.
Um, and then I
And I
saw
mean, you saw
things
my
that were,
my
and then I
bunches.
saw things that looked like they came right out of a fairy tale, like those
Yeah,
foot,
Oakenfoot.
oaken foot
Yeah,
ones, like
those
look
are
like they came right
amazing.
out of a fairy tale. So, yep, Carla dropped again. Oh
Sorry,
no, there she is. She's back.
sorry,
Every
sorry.
time every time the wind blows, we get a little.
Right, right. Little hiccup. At least it comes right back.
Yeah. But we'll
But yeah,
probably
no, I
make
think
this a shorter episode this tonight. And
we say that, but it's 7:30.
oh, ah, well then we completed the mission.
We did.
Oh, there's a
It
lot
was
to
fun,
talk about.
Adam.
I think the experience of being at a Ren Fest really opened my eyes up to a different market that's out
Hmm.
there that my work would do fairly well. It just takes I
Hmm.
think a little bit more investment in presentation and stock and overall show setup and
Right.
yeah. So
So it's not hard. Start small and build from there. I mean, you're already doing that. So
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun. I think if Silver Sage is I'm gonna dress up again like I did for there at Silver Sage, and it's gonna be really fun. And I'm hoping they like what I bring to the table, and I can keep doing it. So
mhm,
you know, I'll
for
help.
sure.
I'm pretty good at helping growing markets too, like the art market here in Pittsburgh. Try to support in the Southeast Kansas where I'm at. Needs a lot of investment because not everybody sees the value in art. So sometimes you have to grow the market where you're at, and
Completely.
to really help people recognize the value that it brings to your region. And luckily, between uh, what I've done here and what I do and what some other organizations have done, Pittsburgh has a vibrant kind of arts community, um,
Hmm.
and just hoping that I can bring that to, I might host my own little mini Ren Fest someday. Who knows?
There you go. That would be
I have
cool.
a
That would
big
be
name
cool.
artist named Carla come to town.
I totally would. I would be your first vendor.
Awesome.
It might just be my tent in your front yard, but I'm there.
Oh, there we go. There we go. We have a pretty nice
And I'll
park.
give you a small section in my booth.
Just a little
Just
corner,
a little,
Carla.
you
Just
know.
a little corner over here in the corner.
Exactly.
Get back to your cage.
I'll bring the cattle prod.
Ooh, ooh.
Are you okay?
Charlie horse. Charlie horse.
Oh,
It's all right. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm
he
fine.
didn't even help tear down. I just did that today.
I know. You probably took a big old ibuprofen.
I I got out of the car when I pulled up to my friend's house and I could like barely stand up. I'm like, give me a second, let me just walk out the kinks. You lift 270-pound tents over your head, that'll kill your back. I'm looking
Well,
forward to being more
you'll
normal.
have to tell me how Great Plains goes in
I'll be
Wichita.
there next week in Wichita. I'll
So
even be in your
everybody,
state and you're not going to come
if
see me.
you're
I'm hurt.
hearing this and you're in the area, please go see Carla at the Great Plains Renaissance Festival in Wichita, Kansas. It should be a lot of fun. I've never been, but I imagine it's just as fun as Norman. So
It might be a smidge smaller. We'll
a
see.
smidge smaller, but
Smidge
I'm,
smaller.
with the quality artists like Carla there, and probably some of the, and Rennie's tend to travel in the same,
There's,
circuits. So.
yeah, I recognized several. The reason that I'm doing that one is because I recognize several of the vendors that do Norman in
Mhm.
the photos from Great Plains. So I decided to sign up. I did it about 15 years ago, and we'll see if it's grown.
Awesome. All right. Well,
Cool.
it is time for
Yes,
the outro.
I should bring it up, huh? Because we're that professional.
You're up. You want me to do it?
Uh, Thank you so much for joining us today. Today's been an amazing conversation. Let us know. Oh, wait. Let me jump. Sorry. Again, we're very professional. Thank you for joining Here Be Dragons. Make sure to like, subscribe, and find us on the web at herebedragonsartcast.com, Substack, Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, YouTube, and anywhere else you would like to listen. I think we got some viewers this week, and we handed out quite a few stickers.
Awesome.
I
Yes.
think so. We'll see. So hopefully, if you're here from Norman because you got a sticker from us, thank you so much, and make sure to follow us on all the stuff from the Doobly Doos. So yeah, thank you guys. Bye.
Night.